Okay, Balara, what's your lead on getting us a Fade expert for the team?
Good evening.
Greetings.
Myrna, Volgoth, what's more of the Mourn Watch doing here?
I've been writing to a senior Fade expert. Turns out he's a watcher like you, but I needed help tracking him down.
Thus we came.
You've done well since we last met at the Necropolis, Rook. Back straight.
You wouldn't believe what I've seen since I left the Watchers.
No one truly leaves the Watchers.
I recall I was encouraged to travel for a time.
It's brushed the dust from your bones.
So Balara's been in touch with one of our own necromancers?
Yes. Do you know Professor Emmrich Volkarin?
I've heard of him around the Necropolis. Never met.
The professor specializes in the Fade and spirits, a truly powerful psychagogue. He's currently investigating a disturbance in the Shrouded Halls. Seek him there.
The place we were forbidden to enter as novices. Those Shrouded Halls.
You're long past being a novice.
Rook, prepare well.
Agreed. The Shrouded Halls have lately been restless.
This is it. But no sign of the professor.
I hope he's here and that he doesn't mind us disturbing him. He is a senior necromancer. I don't... Oh!
Visitors! What a marvelous surprise! Any trouble with the lift? Our last guests were stuck for hours. Poor souls. Oh. Professor Emmrich Volkarin of the Mourn Watch.
Hello, Professor. We've never met, well, in person, but I've been writing to you.
Balara, my dear girl. What a pleasure. Surely you didn't come all this way just to see me.
Actually, we did. You see, we need a Fade expert.
Rook, fellow Mourn Watcher.
Rook! Myrna's mentioned you.
Nothing to scare you off?
She said you've advanced adequately through the ranks.
Ah, how sweet.
I'd be pleased to continue our conversation after I tend to some small business here.
I know it's a lot, but I swear we've seen the blighted elven gods ourselves.
It would explain recent oniric disruptions.
At the least, the implications of what Rook's witnessed are... Ah, thank you, Manfred.
Adorable. Is your assistant wearing the old Watcher livery?
Manfred sewed it himself. Eventually.
You spoke of danger to the Fade.
The elven gods plan to tear it wide open to get to the blight. I don't have to tell you the consequences. We need another necromancer. A Fade expert.
Many Watchers never depart Navara. But with events so dire...
I'd be delighted to assist.
It has been many years since you left us.
Well, yes, but elven gods, ancient magics. I couldn't bear miss this. Besides, I've spent my life exploring the Fade and speaking to spirits. If Rook needs an expert, none are better qualified than I.
It'll be good to have another necromancer along.
My knowledge is at your disposal, and I could catch you up on events at the necropolis.
Welcome aboard.
Wonderful! I'll gather my things. Come, Manfred.
A third edition of the Unnameable Elements? I didn't even know it had editions.
Oh, it's much improved with the index. Please, borrow it if you'd like.
I'd love to. Oh, Rook, you probably wanted to say hi. Thanks, Professor.
You look moved in?
Just a few essentials. Manfred was a great help with the boxes. What a fascinating place this lighthouse is. What do you make of it?
It's much nicer with another Mourn Watcher around.
Is it?
Especially one with experience.
I must be sure to live up to expectations.
Did you get the tour yet?
Oh, I've been exploring, but I noticed a few of the others taken aback by Manfred, and I overheard remarks about my skulls. My necromancy won't cause any undue worry, will it?
No one's afraid of my necromancy.
Oh, that's a relief.
That I know of.
Our art is so easily vilified.
That's life outside Navarra. You'll win them over.
Please excuse me. Manfred and I should finish our inventory. Thank you for stopping by. I'm sorry, but I find it completely unnatural.
I don't get why you think cremation's so bad. Everyone outside Navarra burns their dead.
All those lost vessels, fine mansions reduced to ash. Manfred, for instance, how would his wisp have fared if I hadn't given it a body?
Manfred's very aware for one of the common dead.
Isn't he? You can see why I couldn't leave him behind. I encountered him as a wisp in the necropolis years ago. A simple spirit, but so curious. He refused to leave my side.
So, you built a skeleton for the spirit to live in?
Spirits are formed from the emotions and desires of people in the mortal realm. Manfred's wisp came from curiosity. It's these spirits which animate the dead. Their drive revives the corpse, yet the corpse colors their actions. Thus, the eternal question, are undead, inhuman spirits puppeting a body, or does some shade of the departed return?
I feel something of the soul returns when we revive the deceased.
That's my view as well. It's difficult, isn't it, to prove those lingering glimpses may be grace.
Wow.
Well?
You know, you sound different when you talk Mourn watch things. Way fancier.
I do no such... No, I don't.
Thanks, Professor. I learned a lot today.
My pleasure. Thank you again for coming. It'll be good to perform the rites of remembrance with another watcher. Excellent. Manfred found his way down. Very good, Manfred.
He sounds excited.
I thought we'd start the rites here. A tableau of the dead, commissioned 173 years ago.
I remember this. A visiting Orlesian mage called it the most macabre thing he'd ever seen.
Orlesians. Fabulous artists, but no eye for the long run. These lives were flickers against the ages, precious, fragile, and finite. Now they serve as a warning. Don't linger overlong in the gloom. Live with grace and fervor while you may.
Brings my childhood flooding back.
A little reminder of home?
Of growing up.
That one's livelier. Here. Who were you when you breathed above?
This body was a tailor's, a mother's. She laughed and taught and wove the robes kings wore when they were crowned.
Tja. Someone must realign her thoracic vertebrae. I hope the novices are inspecting the displays.
Being a watcher of the Grand Necropolis should come with standards.
I remember it being better kept in my day. Doubtlessly just the comforting murk of time.
Could ask someone down here if it's true.
There's a thought.
Ah, you're precious.
They're always so drawn to necromancers, aren't they? We're also enjoying the gardens, but we've one last ritual ahead. On your way, my friend.
Spirits really are your specialty.
I've always had a rapport with them. Even as a child, they were my companions.
After you started training here?
After I was orphaned.
Oh.
A collapsed building, swift deaths. After the funeral, the Watchers took me in.
We're not so different. Watchers discovered me down here as a foundling.
I'd heard a mage was found as an infant in the necropolis.
Well, I ran around Navara's streets before my magic called. You settled in better.
I needed time. When I first arrived, I was terrified.
And you still joined the Watchers?
They're what saved me.
So you were really afraid of this place as a child?
It wasn't the necropolis itself, but what was draped around it. Have you ever been frightened by the thought of dying, Rook?
Watcher or not, I don't dwell on it.
It wasn't a choice for me when I was younger. That's when I discovered I possess a great terror of dying. It goes beyond dread. Can't be reasoned with or soothed over. It comes without warning. In the dead of night, the sunlit streets, a raw, strangling fear struck somewhere deep past the heart.
That's an issue for a necromancer.
Oddly, I discovered I wasn't alone. I debated this fear with friends. I argued with teachers. Yet, it lingered. Manfred's right. That's maudlin enough. There are struggles, but a Watcher should always find peace amongst the graves. And what sort of homecoming would this be for you if we didn't end with some light refreshment?
Did you set all this up to make a good impression?
Of course not. I was only...
Because it's working.
Then it's my pleasure to share the tranquility of this place with you. With all my regards. Oh, but I don't want them to think me homesick.
Hi, Emmrich.
Rook, hello. Just composing a few letters. The other Watchers have been most interested in our adventures.
You have more credibility than I do back home.
Perhaps. Speaking of home, have we rarely never met around the necropolis before, even in passing?
Hold on. There was a lecture 2 years ago. Self-abnegation techniques for subastral navigation?
Yes, that was me.
Right. A professor challenged you, then one of the higher dead broke in and argued with her.
And then the Wraiths! What a conference that was!
I miss anything big around the necropolis while I was gone?
Caspar I led a stately procession around the wards of his tomb palace.
That hasn't happened in 300 years.
No one knows what occasioned it. Oh, and necromancers outside the Mourn Watch attempted to claim the funerary dead. Again!
It's right in the Royal Charter. Only Mortalitasi ascended to the Mourn Watch have final authority in the necropolis.
I've had to explain the distinction between Mortalitasi and Watchers a dozen times since leaving home.
But it's simple. Every Navarra necromancer is called a Mortalitasi, and some Mortalitasi join the Mourn Watch. Done.
Exactly, one would think.
I should fulfill my Watcher oaths and ask, any supernatural trouble in Navarra?
A gathering of pride spirits down in Cumberland, easily dispelled. And we finally stopped those wandering cenotaphs from appearing in the Weeping Vale. That took some effort. Nothing else, aside from the elven gods disrupting the Fade.
And yet...
There's so much more than spirits in the Fade. Entities and instrumentalities we know only by their shadows.
If you've spotted something in the Fade...
I'm not sure. It's only an occasional stillness where movement and light should be. Let's hope I'm imagining things.
I couldn't help overhearing the word homesick.
Oh, I'm fine. Completely absorbed in our venture. But if I were home, I'd be preparing for new students or requests to speak to the dead.
You didn't stop teaching just to be with us, did you?
I'm long overdue for a sabbatical. Besides, do you know how many students the faculty wanted in my class next season? 10! How's one meant to tailor separate lessons for 10 pupils at a time? Honestly.
Can people just ask you to show up for some corpse whispering?
Oh, nothing official. There are very few of us, but we help here and there. Questioning a victim of murder, clearing up disputed wills, and sometimes fetching back last words from a loved one.
Have you used corpse whispering on King Marcus?
Whatever are you talking about?
Come on.
His Majesty's health is a delicate subject. Besides, the palace necromancers aren't watchers. They've their own corpse whisperer.
So King Marcus is dead? Or undead?
Half the nobility must suspect by now. Can you imagine what the other kingdoms would think? I stay well clear of it.
Good to chat. I'll let you get back to your letter.
Before you go, I wanted to thank you for your company in the Memorial Gardens. There's another ceremony I have to perform there. If you'd like to visit again. Not yet, but soon.
You know I can't turn down spending more time with you.
How lovely to hear you say so. I'll always be glad to show you around the tombs, my dear. At your pleasure.
I'll take you up on that.
Wonderful. Until then. Excellent. Come in. We could use a second sober voice.
I'm not drunk. You're drunk.
It's a figure of speech.
I was wondering when this had happened.
I don't follow.
You two didn't seem to be bonding.
I need one of these little needle things to dig some crap out of my armor. Death Mage won't give me one.
First, a bone threader is an extremely delicate instrument. Second, it's Emmrich. Tash, my name is Emmrich, not Death Mage, not Corpse Guy, not... I won't repeat the rest.
What? You are a Death Mage.
Why are all my attempts to converse with you met with scorn? What have I done to you, Tash?
You talk about corpses too much.
It's a rich topic.
No, corpses are messed up. They used to have people in them. You make a move like they're alive, but they smell wrong and they move wrong, and none of it is okay.
Oh.
Especially the ones with skin still on them.
Does my necromancy bother you too?
You do more spirit stuff than corpse stuff. Spirits are fine.
I'd no idea necromancy upset you so deeply, Tash. Quite honestly, I didn't think you feared anything.
I don't. But I could have said it was bugging me. I didn't think you cared what I thought.
Of course I do. We're colleagues on this journey.
Okay. Sorry I called you a liker. Skull liker.
Maybe you two can find different things to talk about around each other.
I'll try not to press on the subject of necromancy when we travel together, Tash.
Okay. Thanks. It's fine if I ask about it first.
In that vein, could we avoid any dragon trivia?
What? Who doesn't like dragons?
There's lots of other stuff to talk about. Tash knows Ravane and the Cune. Emmrich knows Navara and plants.
Plants. Plants are okay.
I have always been curious about the Lords of Fortune.
See? It's a start. Hi, Emmrich. You've got a guest.
Ah, Rook. You remember the Hand of Glory?
Hard to forget. You figure out what those Venatori who broke into the necropolis were doing with it.
The hand is how they broke in. The simpler undead are blind to its bearer when its tapers are lit. Sadly, only a death mage could have provided them with this forbidden necromancy.
If they're helping the Venatori, that has to stop.
Agreed. I've made some inquiries. This man is one of the death mage's victims. If he knows where this rogue necromancer is hiding, my corpse whispering will give us the answer.
More corpse whispering. One watcher to another, I'd love to study the Fade as you do it.
Ah, it's always a pleasure to be instructive.
The sigils on the body are necromantic, but I've never seen them applied to innovation this way.
Did you note the truncations for efficiency? Unfortunately, we're dealing with an expert. I must warn you, it will be harder to coax answers from this poor man than from the dead I spoke to in the necropolis. Let flame rekindle your sight. Let breath and light rise again.
Who did this to you? Eyes hidden, dust and gold.
Give us a name.
They come for this one. The spirits shriek. They come.
A name?
Blackthorn.
Return to your rest.
flinch. You really know what you're doing.
Experience is the greatest teacher, and an open heart to what the spirits need.
I bet not every necromancer looks so dapper when they're working, though.
You choose the most extraordinary moments for compliments.
Is that bad?
Quite the opposite.
Back to the topic. Does Blackthorn mean anything to you?
Blackthorn Manor is an abandoned country house outside Navarra City. Our victim mentioned spirits. If they've also fallen prey to forbidden magic, they'll need our help as well. Let's depart for Blackthorn when you're ready. I'd like to speak to the necromancer behind all this.
So, Blackthorn Manor. Let's hope that necromancer working with the Venatori is around.
There's a malaise amongst the spirits here. Some form of confinement. This must be the place.
Right. So, why do we bring that?
Oh, it's essential we have the Hand of Glory.
I never saw one in action during my Necropolis training.
Oh, I should hope not. The mischief a student could work with it chills the soul. The magic laid upon a Hand of Glory is complex. Whoever killed its donor left their mark.
So it'll lead us to whoever cut it off?
Precisely. Most likely the necromancer who's been helping the Venatori. It would have taken extraordinary skill to layer the involutions on this artifact. What a waste of talent.
I like how passionate you are about your work.
Death is one of the primordial forces. It breaks bonds as it lays the ground for the new. At times, there's something stirring about the elegance of it.
Never heard the other Watchers put it that way.
I always choose my words carefully. Forbidden necromancy can twist spirits. We must find this death mage and stop whatever they've done to them.
Late as always, Professor.
It can't be.
But what else would one expect from Navarra's most eminent meddler?
Johanna Hezenkos.
You've met?
Oh, the Professor and I have known each other for ages. But only one of us realized the Watchers are no place for a mage with ambition.
Hezenkos? Weren't you censured by the Watchers after defiling a tomb for experimental—
Complete and utter lies!
Yes, the same Hezenkos. No. The stolen life in that lantern could permanently tear open the Fade here.
Correct. Only the foolhardy would shed blood near it in this state. So, let the Watchers mourn your pathetic death in the Fade, Emmrich Volkarin. Those that are left after my return. So you crawled your way out of the Fade?
It's not difficult for those who treat spirits better than tools to an end, Johanna.
Sentimental drivel. You may have stopped my work here, but Navarra City will know its new ruler.
Look, that lantern's dangerous. Why don't we talk about this?
Dangerous to those who fail to realize what can be done with it! Though the Professor clearly avoided mentioning his old colleague in exile.
We made every attempt to bring you to reason.
I gave you every chance to join me instead of whining endlessly about your mortality. But I must thank you for returning something dear to me. Lovely to have my hand back. I'd exchanged it with the Venatori for some favors after entering this condition.
Johanna, what have you done?
What you never had the courage to.
Oh, the Song of the Chambers won't have anything on what Johanna's... Perhaps the Waking Scrolls? No. Manfred, have you seen the Felmarch manuscripts?
You and Manfred need an extra pair of eyes for whatever this is?
I suppose it's time I explained this mess. Johanna Hesenkos was a watcher. She was banished for embracing the darker paths of our art. Forbidden magic, blood sacrifice, nothing is beyond her if it leads to power, recognition, or both.
Sounded like you knew her before all that.
We were friends, once.
If it helps, you've got someone who cares right next to you.
That's very dear of you, but I'll be fine.
It's so cute how you're such a bad liar.
Things used to be much better between Johanna and me. She truly was brilliant, and we got on so well as students. We partnered on papers, rituals, research. Yet even then, Johanna considered the Watcher's oaths quaint. This isn't the first time we've crossed paths since she was exiled, but now I fear she's turned herself partly undead.
Even after what she's done, I feel a little bad for her.
Well, undeath isn't always a disadvantage. But yes, you saw Johanna's Lantern of Unwilling Souls. A necromancer could create monstrous undead with that much stolen life.
Hesenkos was yelling a lot about conquering Navarra City.
We must stop her, Rook. Thank you, Manfred. Quite right. The Order's knowledge will see us through. Ah, hello there. Just admiring how carefully the Fade is woven into this place, as cultivated as a palace garden.
That's old elven stuff for you. Magic everywhere you look, and also where you don't.
I do envy you, Rook.
Really?
You know how seldom Watchers leave Navarra, if ever. You've already traveled more of Thedas than most of us see in a lifetime. What adventures you've had.
You cut a pretty intriguing figure yourself. Do you really think of me as some grand adventurer?
Well, something thrills at traveling with a dashing young man who's racing to stop an apocalypse. Especially if he's shown unexpected interest in a new companion.
You have a very charming way of putting things.
Well, thank you. And perhaps those years at the lectern have proved useful. May I show you something of the greater Fade here?
Go ahead.
Close your eyes. Take a breath. Slow. Deep. Be born on the great currents. See now as they see. When I talk to the dead, Their echoes abide with me. Thoughts and passions, hopes and desires. The shades of death have more intricacy than even a young watcher may know, Rook. If your attentions go beyond charming flattery, that would interest me, indeed.
You know, I've never seen another necromancer do what you...
You finished the reagent. Excellent work, Manfred. I must tend to this, but I'd be delighted if we found each other later.
Careful with that.
But of course.
It's the only lead I've got.
My dear Davrin, I'll be as careful with this cloth as if it were burial silk from the Storm Age. And this will be so instructive for Manfred. Ah, Rook, just in time.
Need some help?
Give it a minute. We'll see. That piece of cloth I tore off the Gloom Howler back at the cauldron still has some of its blood on it.
And now, through the application of necromancy, perfected by the Mourn Watch through years of meticulous...
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what the Gloom Howler is.
Rather, discern its nature.
How?
By setting it on fire?
Patience. To discern, one must sometimes destroy. Ah, yes, of course. How interesting.
What is it?
It says this was elven blood. This was a person.
What? But it howls.
A corrupted person. Not always a monster. And something else. Deathsel. I'm unfamiliar with the meaning.
An elven word for covenant. Like a promise or a blood oath. I think I get it. An elf who took a vow, then gets blighted. An elf who knew about griffins and warden's secrets.
Almost as if...
It was a warden.
Hunting a monster is one thing, but a warden gone bad? What will it do to the griffins?
It kept talking about saving them. Something else is going on here. I'll put out the word, call in favors, see who might know more. But thanks for your help, Emmrich. You, discerned well.
My pleasure.
Is that Zara Renata? This place isn't big enough to keep every corpse you guys find.
Zara spoke to Ilario before she died. Emmrich can talk to the dead. I have to know.
I wouldn't have offered my skills if I thought it was unsafe. Let flame rekindle your sight. Let breath and light rise again. Tell us about Ilario della Morte.
Martyrs. He fooled us both.
Elaborate.
You took what he wanted most in this world. More than coin, pleasure, family.
The title of First Talon.
Jealousy is a powerful motivator.
I thought he cared enough to grant me a quick death. Why imprison me and risk everything?
An improvisation on this one's part.
You had too much potential to die so young.
And Katerina? Did Ilario hire you to kill her?
No.
Ilario used blood magic to control spite. How? He's not a mage.
Our risen god gives many gifts.
Elgar'nan. Ilario's working with Elgar'nan.
Her spirit's strong. Haste would be appreciated.
Let her go. We've heard enough.
I'm sorry, Lucanis.
So am I.
What are you going to do?
Take away everything from him.
I don't understand why you're bringing so many books.
Well, I don't see what your objections are to my taking a canopy.
We're only going for 2 days.
You've hardly brought more than a flask and a bedroll.
Should I send a search party out for you two in a couple of days?
No.
Of course not.
Emmrich wants to see more of Ferelden, so we're going camping. But he's treating it like we're going to an academic thing.
An expedition can have its earthly comforts.
You want to bring a shaving kit in the woods.
My dear Harding, a gentleman is never without a brush and a razor.
The whole point of going to the wilds is to get away from all that. So what if you get muddy and smell a little bad?
One can enjoy the scenery while remembering to bathe.
Harding, does it really matter if Emmrich brings 8 books?
9, actually.
And Emmrich? So what if Harding is fine sleeping on dirt?
Not all the time. Okay, Rook, I know. This trip's supposed to be fun.
I really have looked forward to you showing me more of your home, Harding.
Me too. Oh, and I'll make us sandwiches.
Ah, your famous ham and jam slam?
Well, yam and jam slam because you don't eat meat. So I'll use yams.
How thoughtful. Thank you, Harding.
Trust me, it's her. And we're lucky. If someone found the body before us, she would have been cremated.
Ugh, I'll never understand that custom.
What are you two up to?
Rook, it's very exciting. Nev's invited me to help solve a murder.
Well, if anyone's going to gather clues from the dead.
I helped the Navaran city guard a few times, but a long-lost crime from the heart of Tevinter.
Let's not oversell it. You ready?
By the flame that stoked you, by the light that rises. Return and speak.
What do you want of this one?
You were a shadow dragon. Someone took you out.
She's already digging in. Be firm.
Why should this one speak?
For a chance to right some wrongs.
One last time.
Speak with no promise of answer.
You helped get people out of the city. Who was the last person you took?
No. Secret. This one's to protect.
They're clinging to a role, keeping secrets.
Fine. Then tell me who killed you. Did you see their face?
Their name gives the other away.
If they came for you, then they're coming for whoever you helped escape.
Don't cross back through the Fade with this weighing on you. Let us help.
Well said.
This one saw the murderer's face. Around us. His son wanted out for Blood Mage family. This one got the son to Azariel. Help him.
The Shadow Dragons will get him to safety.
The spirit has left us. Thank you for trusting me with one of your dead.
Wouldn't leave that to just anyone. You're a different story. Thanks for the help.
Anytime. Now, what do you have to say for yourself?
Did I miss something?
Since we're here to gather flowers for the dead, I thought I'd teach Manfred some plant names. But I just caught him attempting to wade into a rose bush.
That must have been frustrating.
He knows he's not supposed to play in the horticulture. Oh, Manfred. Whatever will happen to you if I pass on?
If?
There's something I'd like to talk about. Do you know what a lich is, Rook?
An undead mage that's retained their mind. They're theoretical, aren't they?
The idea fascinated me when I was younger. For years, I researched and experimented, spoke with spirits and mages. Then, eventually, I found them.
Who?
The Lich Lords of the Grand Necropolis. Necromancers before me who'd transformed themselves into true living dead.
Incredible. Did the other Watchers know?
Well, the most senior do. You weren't high enough in the Order to be informed. The Liches are the great protectors of the Necropolis, bulwarks against forces that threaten creation. After years of tests and rituals, they granted me my desire, the right to attempt lichdom.
Hold on. If you become a lich, then all this flirting we've been doing...
I should hate to lose your company while I'm still mortal.
What would you being a lich be like?
A vast leap. Flesh cast aside for bone, returned immortal for all time.
The whole necropolis will be jealous.
Oh, I don't want to incite any envy.
Emmrich, you've met our fellow necromancers. Also, I notice you haven't answered what lichdom means for flirting.
Our prohibitions regarding the dead wouldn't apply to a lich, but I'd inform you before making any decision to... Lichdom is an incredible honor. Immortality, prestige, the most hallowed ranks of the Watchers, as well as a chance to be of service past my allotted years. But there are considerations.
So, what's holding you back from lichdom?
Even with all my preparations, there's a chance I could die permanently during the rites. What cowardice! A promise of immortality, an end to all my fears, and the final veil stays my hand.
Emmrich, you've spent your life preparing for this, and it could still fail.
You say nothing that hasn't hounded me. Traditionally, candidates for lichdom face one final sifting of the soul. If they avoid it, you saw my old colleague.
Hezenkos? She's a lich.
A half-lich, though that hasn't diminished her powers. Until I stop her plans, I won't possess the peace of mind for lichdom.
In memory of Rupert and Eleanor Volkarin. They walk eternity hand in hand.
After I became a Watcher, I erected a proper shrine to my parents. When I come to talk, I like to think they listen. Well, don't be shy. Introduce yourself.
Rook, also a Mourn watcher. How'd you do? Do you remember your parents?
Some memories are bright. Others are akin to those dim, early morning dreams one gets sometimes. Lately, I wondered what they'd think of our current course, the choices ahead.
Your lichdom.
What would they have wanted me to be?
Happy with someone who cares for you.
Shroud's Kiss. I've always loved the legend around this flower. They say it grows on lovers' graves, and that one moves closer to the Fade simply by inhaling its fragrance.
Is that true?
It is when I will it, my dear.
What else?
What a day of unexpected splendor. How did you find everything?
I never ate this well when I was training in the necropolis.
You may be interested to know I was permitted to raise a few cooks from the royal crypts tonight.
Wait, not from the tomb of Aneska IV?
I'd hoped the evening might impress. The amount of work on you worries me, Rook. Responsibility exacts a toll on the body.
I have been more tired lately.
More so than you might even realize. I do ask that you at least avoid putting pressure on that stiff left wrist.
It's a little stiff. Impressed you spotted it.
Well, I am familiar with the finer points of anatomy. It's good we made time for this. A couple should get to know one another in comfort.
Time to dig into our feelings?
I'd be delighted if the mood moves you.
Devastating charm aside, what do you like about me?
Apart from the compliment of your interest?
Come on.
Darling, it's gratifying a fresh-faced adventurer noticed me at all. And your spirit does charm, but there's also something quite indomitable about you, Rook. It inspires.
Oh, thanks. What's your favorite color?
Well, can I only choose one?
Let me guess. Black? Green? Yellow, but like, bone yellow.
Lilac.
Of course you went to a flower.
It's such a pretty shade of purple. It brings thoughts of spring. And what's your favorite shade of color?
Rich purple. The kind you get with those really expensive dyes.
It's the color of royalty in some kingdoms.
Maybe I've got ambitions. This is one of the more romantic dates I've been on.
How wonderful. I was afraid I'd lost my touch. Between work and research and teaching Manfred, there hasn't been time lately for company.
How lately?
No one serious for a few years. Apart from that, I'd prefer we leave the past be.
All right. Stay a man of mystery. Anyway, Should we enjoy the garden?
Certainly. They're wondering what we're up to. Wisps are ever attracted to the gardens.
Like you?
The Fade is close here. As are spirits I count as guides and friends. Beyond that, I feel there are mysteries past our comprehension. Something beyond the weft of magic or deepest Fade. When I'm fortunate, I spy suggestions of them here.
You're so philosophical around flowers.
It's the purpose of the gardens, to lift our thoughts to something higher and finer than we are.
Like that?
Sometimes, my dear, I think you indulge me.
When I'm in the mood. Mana, hello. I assume Vorgoth's not far.
We have her, Rook. We have her. We know exactly what she's planning.
The professor asked us to research the artifact that came into the possession of Johanna Hezenkos.
She carries a gloaming lantern.
There you are.
They were fashioned in ages past by unscrupulous necromancers. The lanterns steal and concentrate life.
Johanna could use it to leech life from hundreds at a time. An endless source of power.
That's exactly the kind of reckless necromancy that gives the rest of us a bad name.
Just so. But we found where Johanna will be.
She has returned to Blackthorn Manor.
Hezenkos intends to hold a soiree.
That can't be her whole plan.
No, but I propose a small group infiltrate Johanna's lair while she's distracted and destroy her lantern.
Let's do it.
Vorgoth and I must return to the necropolis.
Hunt well.
If only we could make Johanna see reason.
You tried before. She seems stubborn.
Perhaps that's why she attained immortality, while I quake on the threshold. If I make my own bid for lichdom. Oh, it's no use pretending this hasn't stirred up that old dread of my own mortality.
I'm always here to talk about it. You know that, right?
It's a comfort, darling. Truly, but... Oh, Johanna was never beset by these sort of fears.
Little fear's healthy. You'll feel better once we crash her lair and destroy that lantern. Promise. Okay, so the plan is basically to sneak around, find Hezenkos' lantern, and smash it. That's quite a crowd over in the manor.
Johanna's gathering. If she's mingling there, we'll be spotted. Fortunately, we have someone who could pass as a servant.
Nothing livens up a party like having a few undead around.
It always lends them a certain ambience. Right, Manfred. You're to find Johanna's guests and help us gather information on where her workshop might be. We'll be watching in case anything occurs.
Something's going to occur.
Once we find and destroy Johanna's lantern, we'll end whatever she's planning. Hopefully before she introduces the lantern to her guests. Oh my! A body from the House of the Verheims, prepared during the Storm Age.
That's amazing. Should we take you back to the necropolis?
Well, if there's no claimants, it would be a crime not to.
Time to find Hezenkos. He's all yours, Emmrich.
By flame and seal, by light and flood, open your eyes once more.
Who dares disturb?
Friends to the dead.
Friends, this one was abandoned, lost.
Emmrich, it's getting noisy.
He's unusually obstinate. Speak! Where is Hesenkos?
Prove yourselves. What claim have you to the deceased? A willing dead companion. This one concedes. Hesenkos makes a thing that should not be. Red tapestry. Look there.
Rook, did you hear that? Manfred just...
I know. Also, we should move.
What's that, Volkarin? Afraid to chance death for your precious spirits? For all your fine words on the subject, only I had the courage to risk my life for our art.
He's still got twice your backbone.
I see Volkarin somehow did net himself a paramour.
Johanna! Listen to me! You're right. I've never overcome fear of that final dark. I miss having a friend that could.
Yes. Always the idealist.
I'm sorry lichdom failed you. I swear I would have helped you had you come to me. But puppeting this creature...
Puppet? Puppet? Do you think I'm staying a failed lich? I won't command my greatest creation! I will become it! Colleagues, interfering Templars, inept rivals, you all have a place in my heart. And tonight you will fuel my ascension at the cost of your miserable lives.
Move! You can't free the spirits in that lantern.
It might kill me and not even work. No living thing can approach it and... Manfred! Come back!
Any last words, Volkarin, before I... You miserable little...
Manfred!
Manfred knew you could do this. So do I.
By the spirits bound here, night and shadow, light and blood.
What are you doing?
Let your chains loosen. Let the fade draw close.
You'll never succeed, you old fool!
I release you to the air.
No! You small-minded...
Emmrich, how's Manfred holding together?
We must go to the necropolis. His body could only take so much. But I underestimated him, Rook. What bravery in the heart of the dead. And how he grew. Manfred disobeyed me beautifully. He was his own soul at the end.
Can you bring him back?
I will ask.
Emmrich Volkarin. You were not expected so soon.
Hail the lords of the necropolis.
Hail the Watchers. What has brought you?
My lord, I come regarding Manfred, my fallen companion.
Yes, there are ways to return his spirit. But should you do this, lichdom falls from your grasp.
What? Why?
Lichdom is long. If I'm to stand outside death, I must make peace with others passing through it.
What would we otherwise become? How many exceptions till tyranny? Revive him and remain mortal. Or let him slumber and join us.
Emmrich.
Manfred chose to help us. Am I too weak to accept his well-earned rest? I yearn for lichdom, Rook. That leap into something greater, that everlasting light. Do I revive him and live out my days? Or do I honor death by letting him rest and protect this world through immortality?
Mortality's a hard price, but you'd miss Manfred.
Oh, of course I would. But a Watcher should be more accepting of loss, of grief, of his own death in turn.
You're braver than you know, Emmrich. You've always risked your life. Against Hezenkos, against the gods.
Death's abyss always recedes with someone to brave it for.
I think facing a lot of things would be easier if Manfred was back.
Oh, he was fearless. He has so much potential, Rook. So far to grow.
Then help him do it.
You're absolutely right. I'll need your help. Rest easy, Manfred. We'll soon have you back amongst the living. I've made my preparations, Rook. Will you help me restore Manfred to the world of the living?
I pledge assistance as a watcher to this work.
Let us walk these paths together with the dead. Thank you. We must go to the necropolis once you're ready.
Well, never re-raised the dead. I defer to the senior watcher.
I've never tried it either. In any other circumstance, this would be fascinating. We'll need assistance finding Manfred's wisp and drawing it back into his body. By pact and pledge, I seek an audience. By light and breath, let wisdom come. You've met these spirits before, but I've never properly introduced you. Rook, allow me to present two Necropolis Guardians, the keepsake of ages and far-sighted curio.
Those are your names. You're two of our oldest spirits.
We've watched long enough to be caught in paper thoughts.
Not that we've sought much fame.
Friends, my assistant, my ward, Manfred, sacrificed himself to save us.
We'd heard you'd abandoned lichdom to bring him back. Your work, your dreams.
You paid the price. But it seems there are many flickers of curiosity in the Fade.
And only one you seek. Draw his wisp near. Speak.
Can I help?
Yes, please. Think of Manfred. Tell me something you felt about him. Concentrate.
He was always excited to be around you, Emmrich. If spirits can learn to love, he loved you.
In the sea of the Fade, there are wakes left by our passing. Our desires, our fears. I leave this beacon for you, Manfred. Follow my voice. Return to me, please. Manfred?
It worked.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful indeed.
Thanks for stitching that seam on my coat, Fred. It was coming loose. And nice new threads yourself.
Thank you. Yes, we needed something to mark him as an apprentice around the necropolis.
It's a good fit. See you around.
Yes.
How are you doing, Manfred?
Alive. He's excited for his training. Manfred's spellcraft is coming along nicely, more or less. Some undead have the potential to cast magic. I believe his was unlocked by his journey through the Fade.
What was that like?
Dunno. You mean you don't know? Dunno. We must work on that enunciation. Why don't you fetch the primer?
There goes our magic-flinging skeleton son.
Well, I wouldn't go so far. Certainly I've a responsibility to educate him, and he'll need moral guidance. Most spirits do. But did you know, yesterday he said the most amusing thing while...
He's got your eyes.
As he grows, Manfred will better learn to take care of himself. I won't worry so much when I pass on.
How do you feel about that last part?
I have moments of regret for what lichdom might have been. But none would make me exchange this for anything.
Elgar'nan.
While you gather your people, I will find the Inquisitor. And Rook, I wish you great luck.
Elgar'nan just caused an eclipse. The gods can finish their dagger. We need to move now.
But we were supposed to have weeks to prepare.
How much time do we actually have?
It's not weeks, I can tell you that much.
The eclipse is slowly forcing an alignment between the stars and powerful currents in the Fade.
Which means what?
I'm afraid we've only a few hours until the gods complete their dagger.
The gods were way too quiet after Arlathan. I should have known something was wrong.
No one could have anticipated this escalation.
Doesn't matter now. We're stuck with it.
What will we be facing on the island?
There's gonna be blight crap.
And where there's blight, darkspawn.
Right. Tearstone Island's also crawling with the entire Antam army.
They've had time to prepare. It'll be brutal.
So will the gods. We're walking right into their lair.
We may not all make it out again.
We're the only thing standing between every single living creature and the Blight. I don't want to watch the world fall and know I didn't do everything I could. So let's stop the gods. Whatever it takes.
We're with you. The gods won't leave that island.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Then we leave as soon as we can.
Darling, I'm just finishing reviewing my bequeathments. It made me consider a topic I must broach. The eve before we kill a god, my thoughts turn to mortality and what we are to each other.
All right.
Even under the best circumstances, you will outlive me, Rook. You've grown to mean much to me, and I care for you, Rook. Deeply. But there are such years between us, I shouldn't heap you with that burden.
You're breaking my heart by worrying.
Darling, I only wish to be fair to you.
I know what I'm getting into.
At your age?
Don't start.
We must consider this.
You're overthinking it, and it's not the time.
One of us needs to consider my mortality.
Because you're worried about me or insecure about you? Look, let's pack. Eve before we face a god, right?
As you say. Don't start. It's fortunate we weren't spotted coming in.
A lot of dreadnoughts. One shot is all it takes.
Now we just have to deal with that.
Morgan didn't exaggerate. That's the entire Antam army over there.
Armies are big and clumsy. We can do this.
Agreed. If we move quick enough.
The gods will know we're here soon, and so will the Antam. We need a distraction. One team to draw off that army, and another to stop the gods from finishing their dagger.
I'll take half the team and cause some trouble down by the Antam ships.
Wait, I'm the scout. I can get us around this place faster.
There'll be blight farther up, Harding. And darkspawn.
I've fought them before. And I've got the stone on my side.
Lace? Hold on.
Someone has to do this, Tosh.
So who will it be?
Harding's right. This requires a good scout.
I'll take care of it. I promise.
I'll take the rest of us and get to the gods before they finish their dagger and cut open the Fade. Once we're in place, Lucanis will take Solus's dagger and ambush Ghilan'nain.
Elgar'nan's pet.
One problem at a time. As long as he has that archdemon, he's invulnerable. Concentrate on Ghilan'nain first. We kill her, take the god's dagger, then deal with Elgar'nan.
We should go. Wish me a little luck.
You got it.
Oh, another Fade tear. Oceans of magic are coursing around us because of the god's ritual.
Then we'd better find Ghilan'nain. Quickly.
Wait! There are wards blocking the way out. Blood magic.
One touch could kill.
How do we get through? Ideas?
Patterns are familiar. If I can fracture the harmonics, we could get through. Maybe.
I deal with blood magic. I can stop the damage long enough to burn out the wards.
That's risky, Nev. Really risky. I can't ask you to do that.
Your way's just as dangerous. Don't like it, but one of us has to do it.
This is your territory, Bellara. Just go slow.
I'll be careful.
I'll keep this Fade Tear in check while you work, but with things so unpredictable, I fear anything might happen once we kill Ghilan'nain.
Solus warned me that there'd always be costs and consequences to fighting gods. But if we kill Ghilan'nain, snatch the god's dagger and escape, maybe we prove him wrong.
I dearly hope so.
And there!
Great work.
Thanks. Be careful. The gods might know we're here now.
That is a certainty.
Bellara!
The Elven are a scattered people, but fret not. I shall bring your mage gently back into our fold. You can all be forgiven by embracing the wisdom of surrender. Continue, and even the dread wolf will regret what I do to his pawn.
Come on! Elgar'nan and Ghilan'nain are still on the island. If we move fast, we might get Bellara back.
Damn it! Hold on, Belle!
The gods know we're coming, but they still need to finish their dagger.
We can divide their attention.
Good idea. Half the team comes with me on the main path. Harding and the others keep out of sight and get Lucanis to the ritual.
He kills Ghilan'nain, and then we save Bellara.
All this magic, it feels like a storm.
Which means Elgar'nan's almost completed the dagger.
Where's Ghilan'nain?
On the move. Spike can feel her hunting for us.
We didn't come this far for nothing. Everything the gods have thrown at us, it's all because they know we can win. We'll kill Ghilan'nain, we'll get our friend back, and then...
And then Elgar'nan. We'll hold Ghilan'nain's attention until Lucanis has a clear shot.
Good luck, Harding.
Like we said, whatever it takes.
It's all yours.
As is Ghilan'nain.
There she is!
The child of the stone.
Get around her so we...
Harding!
She hears you not. So few of you remain. Small.
Emmrich?
Desperate.
Davrin!
Fearful. For your transgressions, little Rook, you face a god alone.
No!
We had such plans. Elgar'nan.
regret this.
The fade's still ripping open!
The dagger! Rook! You must break its contact with Ghilan'nain!
Lucanis! Lucanis!
And so you have your victory. You live. And Ghilan'nain does not. Are you not proud to finally reach this moment? Or did you think you'd win the day without some painful sacrifice?
If we don't stop that dragon, people will die. Innocent people.
No one's retreating.
We'll all die.
Our demons attacking the north.
You and your friends stood against the gods. Your courage is laudable.
Solus!
But mortals cannot win this battle. I am sorry it is what must be.
I did everything for you, Rook. You're worthless.
Varric never believed in you.
You're no leader. You were never up to. You failed us all.
What failure cuts your conscience now, I wonder?
Bellara!
Your friend is dead.
Dead and gone. It was your fault.
Your fault.
Regret, like all emotions, is a powerful thing. It can bruise us, break us, or blind us to the truth. Regret is even strong enough to serve as the lock on a prison built to hold gods. Such a prison can hold any captive. Even you.
No.
You were never ready to make the sacrifices that leadership requires. Through our connection, I molded you into someone the prison would accept in my place.
Varric.
Your work is done.
So how do I get out of here?
Listen to your team. Like you always do.
This way. It's thinner here.
Better be right.
They're waiting for you. Just take it one step at a time.
Goodbye, Varric. And thank you.
Rook!
Looking forward to seeing how it turns out. I'd say good luck, but you don't need it. You already have everything you need.
There! A light! We've got something. Get ready.
He seized control of the Archon's palace?
While the Magisterium was in full session, only the Venatori seemed to have survived.
How are the Shadow Dragons?
Still fighting, last we heard. But Elgar'nan's blighted the city, and the Venatori magically sealed the gates. No one's getting in or out.
Even the city's alluvians went dark. We've got no way to contact the Shadow Dragons. They'd be dead already if not for Solus.
Solus?
He got to Minrathis just before the gates were sealed. He saved some civilians and killed some Venatori.
Now people are rallying behind the Dreadwolf, like he's the only one who can save them.
He's using the Shadow Dragons and anyone else he can to give him a clear shot at Elgar'nan. Then he finishes his ritual and the whole world drowns in demons.
He can't hurt Elgar'nan yet. That archdemon makes him invulnerable.
Right. Solus needs to kill it first.
And once that's done, Solus goes for Elgar'nan with the dagger he took from us.
That's why we need to get to Solus first.
He's not going to be happy when he sees you've escaped from his trap.
That's his problem. He's got the dagger, and the dagger's the only thing that can kill Elgar'nan. We need to get it back.
We did attempt to create a dagger to replace the one Solus took.
Nice to look at, but it can't cut through enchantments like the real thing.
So it cannot kill Elgar'nan.
Looks real enough.
But it is not. We don't have the right weapon to take down our target, and we lost too much killing Ghilan'nain. We have no idea where Bellara is, or what Elgar'nan is doing to her.
And Harding is... she's gone.
I know I'm not the only one who didn't make it off that island. We lost Bellara. We lost Harding. So let's remember them. Remember what they sacrificed. And let's honor them by finishing the job. Get a message to anyone who's still out there. Tell them we're gonna stop Elgar'nan, and we need their help to do it. Then fix up your gear and take care of any unfinished business. In the morning, we take back Minrathous.
Darling, are you certain you're all right?
We've still got work to do. I can collapse when this is over.
Rook, let us send word to all our allies. Your only task for now should be to rest. I hope you're feeling more yourself soon. I'll be back. Rook, dearest, please trust me. I must take you to the necropolis before we confront Elgar'nan.
I trust you, Emmrich.
Thank you, darling.
Did we have to risk visiting the necropolis?
I needed its subtler enchantments to detect what we must know. There's no mark of the cursed Solus left on you. Darling, I thought I'd lost you forever in the Fade.
I thought so too. It was... I don't know what that was.
A dream. A reflexive curse you overcame with your own reflection.
If you and the others hadn't pulled me out. Some watcher I was, stuck in the Fade. And the worst part? I wasn't afraid I'd die. I was afraid I'd be there forever.
You're not. You're here with me.
What I knew all about the Veil as a watcher, I still don't know how you found me.
There are things in the Fade we cannot circumscribe. I'm grateful it returned what's most dear to me.
I did have someone to come back to.
Rook? I was going to fetch some breakfast. Would you like anything? Come again?
What time is it?
It's nearly dawn. I've been up for an hour.
How come?
It's when I normally wake up.
Of course, you're an early riser.
I like to take my exercise in the morning.
That's nice. Peaceful down here. You could almost pretend nothing's wrong up top.
When I'm with you, it feels as if there isn't.
That's sweet.
I do mean it. Whatever's in store for us, together, my darling, that's how we'll face it.
I know. We could stay here just a little longer.
What are you... If you insist.
Thank you all for coming. If we don't stop Elgar'nan today, our world is either dead or blighted. So we keep fighting until the job is done. It's gonna be hard. There's no guarantee any of us will make it.
We're with you, Rook.
Elgar'nan dies today.
Whatever it takes.
Strife, news?
Our scouts confirm Elgar'nan is inside the Archon's palace. There's a giant tendril of blight tethering it to the Divine's manor in Hightown.
Then that's our goal. Reach the city walls and get to that tendril. Emmrich, can we count on more much support?
Our fellow Watchers would be honored to assist.
Every remaining Grey Warden will be there too.
The Antivan crews are ready to pay their respects.
And the Lords of Fortune will be there. For gold and glory.
The Veil Jumpers have been in this since the beginning, and will be there for the end.
Solus is our first target. Without his dagger, we can't kill Elgar'nan.
Our scouts last spotted him working with the Shadow Dragons in the western section of Hightown.
Okay, we go in through Hightown.
How? Minrathous was built to fight off an army, even before Elgar'nan reinforced the defenses. Every gate will be guarded.
Worse than that. Our scouts reported that the Venatori sealed all the gates with those damn warding crystals.
Can the Veil Jumpers disable them?
Venatori magic won't be a problem.
It's still likely to take time. You may need assistance or someone to protect you while you unravel the wards.
Emmrich, I want you helping the Veil Jumpers.
Of course.
The Venatori at that gate will be commanded by a war mage. That's how they usually operate.
If we get rid of the commander, the rest of the Venatori will scatter. Can the crows cut the head off the snake?
Contract accepted.
There's gonna be a lot of guards between you and her. The Lords can clear you a path.
And one of us should be there as well.
Lucanis, how'd you like to kill a Venatori mage?
It would be my pleasure.
One last thing might give the crows some trouble. There's a massive construct tall enough to crush buildings. It's guarding the main gate.
A juggernaut. Giant siege constructs built to withstand the Anton, or anyone else who came calling.
We're gonna need our heaviest forces against that juggernaut. Evka.
The Grey Wardens have fought ogres and archdemons. We can handle this.
The Mourn Watch will lend aid, but against something as large as this juggernaut, we'll require further assistance. Rook?
Tash, you're with the Wardens.
Right.
Davrin, Nev, you're with me. We make a run at the gate, get inside, and find Solus. The rest of you get to the Blight Tendril. Once we've got the dagger, we'll meet you there, and take the fight to Elgar'nan. I believe in this team, in all of us. So let's get it done. We go on my signal. For a world free of the Blight! Let's go!
Focus on the wards!
We need to go!
He was in my head the whole time. It was like I wanted to help him.
That's messed up.
He's filled with the blight, and I think I am too. Rook.
No. I refuse to lose anyone else I care about to these monsters. Bellara, stay alive. That's an order. We'll talk to the Wardens after we take down Elgar'nan.
No, you can't. That's what I needed to tell you. When Elgar'nan was in my mind, I was kind of in his too. I could feel him. His mind, his magic, his life force. It's tied to the Veil. His life is the only thing holding the Veil in place.
I felt the Veil weaken when Ghilan'nain fell. I expect that when Solus imprisoned the other gods, he bound them all thus. And now that Elgar'nan is the only one left...
If we kill him, the Veil collapses.
Which is why Solus gave me the dagger. That smug, backstabbing little shit. Even with the fate of the world at stake, Solus takes time to double-cross the people trying to save it. We still have to kill Elgar'nan. So what can we do? Can we tie the Veil to something else to keep it in place?
For an enchantment like that, we'll need a specific substitute. The Veil was made to be tied to the ancient elven gods.
Then let's tie it to Solus. He's the only elven god left.
Binding him will require drawing his blood with the lyrium dagger.
And I doubt he's going to like the idea.
I sure hope he doesn't. After everything he's done, I'm looking forward to doing this the hard way. But it will be risky. What about this?
The dagger we made while you were trapped in the Fade.
Once Elgar'nan is dead, odds are good that Solus will need to do something else to complete his ritual. This dagger looks identical, but it can't cut through enchantments like the real thing. So if he tries to use it...
The backlash of such magic would render him helpless.
Unless he notices. You really want to try a bait and switch on the Dreadwolf?
It all comes down to what happens once you take down Elgar'nan. Whatever you decide, Rook, you have our support.
Because of everyone here, and everyone we lost to get here, we've got options for dealing with Solus. For now, let's focus on Elgar'nan. He's in the palace above us. We'll climb the Blight Tendril to get there. Once Solus takes down the Archdemon and renders Elgar'nan mortal, we hit him with everything we've got.
Damn right we do.
Time's running short. Stock up on supplies, pay your respects, and say goodbye to the people you love. Be ready to go when I signal.
Oh, it is purest relief to see us all gathered safe and sound. We reunited with Bellara. What that poor girl has been through, and she's still returned to the fray. Elgar'nan must fear what we might accomplish once we storm his tower.
I never dreamed a pair of watchers would decide the fate of the Fade. Especially me.
To always watch over the boundaries of death and measure the dreaming sea. Elgar'nan is a tyrant, but it's truly Solus who threatens us. He has no idea you've a replica of his dagger. I've matched its aura as closely to the original as possible.
That might fool Solus for a bit, in all the chaos.
We should depart soon, dearest. How I wish we were already safely home together. I love you, my darling Rook.
I love you too, Emmrich.
Come what may, I will carry those words with me. I'd no idea we'd be drawn together when we first met. No man alive is more fortunate than I. Speak the word, Rook, and I shall stand by your side.
It is done. The world owes you a debt, both for defeating Elgar'nan and for bringing down the Veil. I am sorry for this final betrayal, but I will do what I can to minimize the damage. When you see the old world restored, please, Rook. I do not wish to fight against you.
The Veil's not coming down on my watch.
It is over. You could never stand against me alone. If you will excuse me, the final enchantments require a delicate touch.
A delicate touch? You kill Varric, stab me in the back. You're about to drown the world in demons. How are you any different from Elgar'nan, trying to impose your will on all of us?
Elgar'nan would have seized his victory by force. You were not crushed by the power of the Dread Wolf. You were bested fairly, by wits alone.
Dagger was a fake. Here's the real one. And now the Veil is once again tied to the life force of an elven god.
Bested fairly by wits alone. I taught you well.
Varric taught me well, and you killed him.
You think yourself capable of judging me? I have faced things you could not possibly comprehend. You are a mortal! A mortal! And I am... I am a fool who finally met his match.
The story of the Veilguard. A team of heroes who stood strong against evil, no matter the cost.
A man seeing his ward become more than he could ever have imagined. There are stories of love.
But those stories aren't over.